Hey everybody, welcome back. Stonebrook Adventure, 1971, Boston Whaler restoration. We got mahogany. We're gonna start sanding the mahogany. Let's take a closer look. Okay, we got all the original mahogany. Two sets of side rails. These are for the old cable steering. These are your just basic model with no steering, tiller, steer. We got a couple of those. We got seats here. I don't know, a few other pieces. You can see that one piece is warped. Man, I hope I can salvage that. This stuff's expensive. Look what else we scored. We scored an old original navigation light with the little rope pulleys. We have an original Boston Whaler wheel here. So we're gonna start sanding on this. We're gonna refinish in this episode. We're gonna get something installed. So what I'm using to fasten these side rails is number 10, 1.5 inch stainless steel countersunk Phillips tips screws, and I'm using these little finish washers, these countersink washers, number 10 stainless steel countersink washers. My measurement from the front edge of the deck to the front of the back seat is about 24.25 inches. You square that off of there. That's actually going to put you 6 inches forward of factory. Right, they had it 6 inches back because a lot of these were set up for tiller steer. So if we move that 6 inches forward, that's going to pull that weight forward and it'll eliminate that classic Boston Whaler porpoising. So we're going to pre-drill the holes here on this. We've already pre-drilled this one. We're setting everything up dry. Just make sure everything fits. We're going to build a little console on here, but we're just kind of doing the dry fit on the base of this. The two seats, the two side rails. All the Boston Whalers had that. So we can get that set, and then we'll move on to the next step. Now you're gonna wanna push this down. This is gonna have that little rubber spacer on here. You're gonna wanna push this down to make sure that that rubber spacer is holding it nice and steady. All right, side rails. Now that we got the front and the back in, we can pre-drill the last two holes. You see here, we've got all the mahogany sanded. Right now we're kind of debating how we want to finish that. We might actually put some dark mahogany stain on that. I've heard that's kind of an option that a lot of guys use. And then what kind of a seal coat we're going to put on that, but we'll get to that when we get to that. There you go, that side rail's in. We'll do the same on the other side, show you what it looks like when it's finished. So we got the side rails installed, the seats are installed 28 inches from the center of the transom to the back of the seat is 28, about 24.25, 28, 24.5 to the front of the front seat. I say should keep it from porpoising. And then now we're gonna decide, what do we want? Do we want a center console? Do we want the sport? Do we want the super sport? What model are we gonna set this up as? But right now, just seeing where I'm gonna be, I think I'm gonna set it up as your sourpuss, little hybrid sourpuss model. Maybe tilt this console up like that so the steering wheel's got a little tilt towards me. Steering wheel maybe just a hair off center. And I can reach that throttle right there. But yeah, we're moving along now. This thing is really starting to look good. We'll start working on the design of the console, and then we're gonna finish it. This is all just the dry run. We'll finish everything, then we'll install it permanently. I made a little template here of what I need to get that console kind of tilted up. at the right angle. Seat back, gonna be 105-degree angle. We're gonna cut this wood. This is mahogany that I got from a friend. Nice piece of this old growth mahogany that he salvaged. We're gonna cut this, use these templates. We'll show you how that looks installed. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Got my shifter, steering wheel mock-up. Oh yeah, we're gonna be ripping in this thing. I've got all the wood in place temporarily before I start varnishing anything. I've done some of my own modifications on the setup, so let's take a look at this thing. See here, I've modified this console, kind of in the direction of the sourpuss model. I've got a full front bench seat with the back. Okay, this I had to add this little bracket. I had to make this bracket so this thing would sit up. I would have preferred to have bought a whole new piece of mahogany for the side rail and cut a nice flowing pattern, but that's just too much money right now. I can always do that later. The front seat sits at a 105-degree angle from the top to the bottom, 105 degrees, right? Squared off to the top here where the steering wheel is gonna set. We could set that steering wheel in the center and you'd still be able to hit the shifter knob, but we're gonna set it just off center, right? So it's real comfortable to operate, and you could sit side by side with somebody. We have these support brackets here to really beef up the sides of this console in case anyone grabs the steering wheel to jump up, to get out of the boat. The runners, done some research on this. So the runners, they're gonna be 21.5 inches from this front well box. So from this point to that point, 21.5 inches. That's a little bit further from stock. Should keep this thing from porpoising. So yeah, we're gonna tighten everything up, get everything installed, make sure everything fits nice, get the steering wheel hole cut, and then we have to remove everything and start varnishing. So one of the problems that I ran into, I had this original mahogany, so the distance from the left side all the way over to the right side is a little short. It's a little narrow, probably a 1/4 inch to maybe, I don't know, 3/8 narrow. And it's throwing the angle of the sideboard off a little bit. So I got this neoprene rubber. There's gonna be a link down below if you need anything like this. This neoprene rubber, I'm gonna use that to shim the sideboard off of the side. So I'll pull this off, put the neoprene rubber in, it's a 1 inch, and that should pull this side out by 1/8, the other side out by 1/8, and that'll give me that 1/4 inch difference that I need to get everything nice and squared up. It'll also seal the holes as I run these screws through. So I'll give you a good overview of what this thing's gonna look like. It's the setup. Steering wheel just a little off center. I'm gonna use 5/8 rope in the rub rail. It's coming along real nice. Look at that. All right, we have this V-bore steering system we're gonna put in. We've got the template kind of laid out here, centered front to back, and I'm 17.5 inches off the side to the center. So we're gonna drill our holes and start getting this thing installed. Like to do with a hole saw too is once I punch through, I like coming through the back side so I don't have any burrs on it. nice little score on the backside. When it punches through, it doesn't tear out. There we go. Gonna put our mounting plate on. We'll fasten that from the back side. And then the actual steering mechanism comes in from the back side, bolts to these little holes here. We'll get that done. So we're gonna end with a little public service announcement. If you look up close here, I got a little Band-Aid there. Wear your sunscreen. I just got a biopsy, little sun damage there. So if you see that Band-Aid, that's what it is. Wear your sunscreen. All right, we got the steering wheel all set up. Have it kind of temporarily installed where we want it. That's gonna work perfect. So I think the next episode, we're gonna tear everything down and start varnishing. I know I've said that like 2 or 3 episodes ago. A lot of work to get to that point, but we're all set. We got everything in position where we need it. Steering wheel's cut in. So we'll see you on the next episode. So from Stonebrook Adventure, until next time, bloop.